What's up, Michigan State fans? It's Jacob Hatznick here back with another episode of the Michigan State Spartans Insider Podcast. This is our podcast now for Thursday, February 26th, 2026. So, big game on Thursday. Michigan State ranked 13th in the country, heading down to West Lafayette to go take on the 8th ranked Purdue Boilermakers. Both teams have identical records, 22-5 overall and 12-4 in Big Ten play. Michigan State nor Purdue are going to win the Big Ten this year, almost certainly. Michigan is one win away, any win, from sealing the Big Ten outright. I don't see them losing out personally. But there's still a lot to be played for in this game, both Big Ten tournament seeding wise and NCAA tournament seeding wise. Because I still think if you're Michigan State, you want that top four Big Ten tournament seed. And also, I think there's a very important distinction between getting a four seed, which is probably what MSU would get right now if the season ended, and getting a three seed in the NCAA tournament. And in two different parts here, basically the Big Ten tournament it's grueling. I mean, the Big Ten tournament, it's a lot different than what you experience throughout the season, because normally in college basketball, except unless you play a mid-season tournament, like when you go to Maui per se, you play 3 games in 3 days. You don't experience anything like the Big Ten tournament during the regular season, except at the very beginning. And even if you do play one in like Maui or the Players era these days or something like that, that's in November. It's like it's Thanksgiving weekend, basically, and there's that big gap. You have basically the entire regular season ahead of you before you go play in the Big Ten tournament. So, if you want to win the Big Ten tournament, you have to win 3 or 4 games in 3 or 4 days. It's one game a day. It's unusual. You don't see it in pros. In the pro, you'll see back to backs in the NBA, but you don't see teams playing 4 games in 4 days. Like it can happen in the Big Ten title. Like that is something that can realistically happen. And for Michigan State, you want to get a top four seed. So if you want to win the Big Ten tournament title, it's 3 games in 3 days. That's still not great, but it's a lot more doable than four. You'll probably Michigan State will be the higher end seed probably in their first game. I think right now they would be a top four seed. I don't quote me on that, but like they're in a tie for third, I believe, as I'm recording this. Maybe like Nebraska, I think, has won to move ahead. So like maybe it's a tie for third or fourth right now, maybe with Purdue, because they're both 12-4 right now. But again, that's part of what makes this game big, is it basically puts you kind of like 2 games ahead of the other team and between Purdue and Michigan State in the Big Ten standings, because Purdue wins this game. Whoever wins this game is going to be 13-4. The other one's going to be 12-5. There's only 3 games left, and the team that just won is going to have the tiebreaker on the other. The head-to-head is the only time these two teams meet. So this is very, very important, because again, this is right around the cutoff line for that triple bye where you go straight to the quarterfinals in the Big Ten tournament. So again, massive stakes in that way. As far as, does Michigan State start the Big Ten tournament on a Thursday uh, as the 5 or the 6 seed against whoever they'd play, or do they start as the 3 or the 4 seed? And maybe you get that extra day, and also the ceiling of how much energy you have to spend on the Big Ten tournament. It's lower. There's always the chance you lose like the first day and it doesn't really matter, but that would also damage your NCAA tournament resume, and so on and so forth and all of that. And again, NCAA tournament resume wise, you win this game, selection committee is going to pay real attention to that, because Purdue is ranked 8th right now. But I think in terms of like overall seeding right now, they might be a tick or two above that. Like they're a 2 seed. Like they're a 2 seed right now. If the season ended right now, they'd probably be a 2 seed. Maybe they go down to that 3 spot, but it'd definitely be surprising. So like Purdue's really, really good. I mean, Purdue's a really, really talented team. You got the reigning Big Ten Player of the Year, Braden Smith, who's still averaging 15 and 8, like 15 points, 8.7 assists or something, and people have like barely paid attention to him. Or at least that's what I'm experiencing. Maybe Purdue fans are seeing something different, but he hasn't been really in the conversation as much as he was like last year, where he was a consensus All-American. You still got Trey Kaufman-Renn. Again, I think he's been dealing with a bit of an injury this season. His scoring output is pretty far down, but still a really, really good player, really, really experienced player, a big presence in the post that they've got. You've got Oscar Clough, like the only transfer that Purdue really has. As far as the guy who plays regularly came from South Dakota State. He's Australian, I'm pretty sure. I remember seeing that when I was looking through their roster. He shoots like 70%, 71, 72% from the field. So really, really efficient. And like if you let him get the ball in deep, it's basically worth 2 points. You still got Fletcher Lawyer shooting the three balls for Purdue. Hits about 40% of them. He's hit like 70 of them so far on the season. So again, especially when you're going to Mackey, like that's a big momentum play. Like it's gonna be you're gonna get a big crowd pop 2 or 3 or 4 times during these games. Again, he's good for about 2 or 3 of them a game, but if he lights it up, that's a big swing right there, because again, that's the crowd. Like the crowd at Mackey is really, really worth something. And again, like college basketball, sometimes it's kind of like I really do think momentum matters in college basketball more than like other sports. Like baseball, I don't think really momentum's truly a real thing. Because again, there's so much pause in the action, even in football. Because you just have to be more physical than the other team, and also again, more pauses in between plays. Hockey, I believe it. Like you can kind of see sometimes where things are going with hockey, but I think that's also so in basketball, where it's a more free flowing sport, and you can get teams on your heels. And I do especially think when you have home court advantage as big as it is in Mackey compared to the Breslin Center, like you again, teams generally get more favorable calls when you're on your home court, because again, the refs, even whether they want to or not, it's a subconscious thing where you're like, it's like where if you don't want to call a foul and make everyone start booing you. Like you're not thinking that, but your brain, you don't like, no one likes to get booed. So that does kind of affect the mindset of the refs. I'm not saying that's going to be a problem here for Michigan State. There has been times where like I do think the Breslin crowd sometimes gets into the heads of the officials. That's like there's been games where I thought, yeah, MSU's kind of getting a decent whistle tonight, and there's been times where I thought that's been flipped on the road. Like this is how college basketball refs aren't amazing. They were that great at being a referee, they'd be refereeing in the NBA. Even the NBA has its own problems in that way. But again, home court really, really matters as far as just the crowd lifting their own team up as well. Of course, again, like there's that psychological aspect of people cheering when you make a shot that boosts you up. Like, but when you're on the road, no one reacts when you hit a shot. So when you're used to maybe there being claps or cheers and all that, so that stuff matters. That's why home court advantage is truly an advantage for a team here. And Mackey is as tough as it gets. But trying to get back to the stakes of this game, again, if Michigan State loses this game, it's tough to see them getting the true resume wins that a truly good enough resume to move up from a 4 to a 3. If you win this game, it could definitely happen. I don't think you have to go beat Michigan necessarily to become a 3 seed. If you win this game, winning this one might be enough to move you up there. But obviously, it's a lot easier said than done. Like MSU is an underdog in this game. I picked Purdue to win this one for a reason. I do think Purdue's going to win. I think it's maybe the second or third time I've truly picked against Michigan State all season. The only other time I'm certain I did that was when Illinois came here. I still think Illinois is technically a better team than MSU is as far as a talent perspective. But that game was also played at the Breslin Center. This one's at Mackey. I'm a little more confident in the fact that Purdue's going to win. Again, they play the games for a reason. Again, the offense for Purdue it clicks. It really clicks. They have a ton of great offensive weapons. You don't see. It's just, again, Braden Smith can score, CJ Cox can score, Fletcher Lawyer can score, Kaufman Wren can score, Oscar Clough can score. It's a really, really good team. I mean, they're a 2 seed for this very reason. And it's just, again, because of Michigan's dominance on the Big Ten this season. I mean, it's still great. Like, they could very easily be undefeated in Big Ten play if Wisconsin didn't go out, hit a ton of threes, and upset them in Chrysler. They could very easily be undefeated against the Big Ten this season. They could be looking at going 20-0. They're looking at going in 19-1 during in Big Ten this season. I think you're kind of people on a more national scale are kind of forgetting how good some of the other top teams in the Big Ten are. Illinois has the talent to go make the Final Four. Purdue has the talent to go make the Final Four. I think Nebraska can do it if they get hot at the right time. Again, it's a can. Will they? I don't think I'm going to pick. I could pick Illinois to go Final Four in my bracket. I could pick Purdue to go Final Four in my bracket. I don't know if I'll pick Nebraska, but they can do it. Michigan State can go to a Final Four. Will they? I don't think I'm going to pick that, But again, there's a lot of really, really good teams in the Big Ten this year, and the top part of the conference is a lot better than last year. If you ask me, again, MSU won the big conference by 3 games last year, and normally, I think when you tell someone, "Hey, this team's going to win the Big Ten by 3 games," you're thinking, "Oh, this team could be that could they could be the number one overall seed for all I know." And that's usually when you win a conference with that much prestige by that much, you're thinking 1 seed. MSU was a 2 seed, and no one was arguing about it. I don't think they were they even like the I'm trying to remember what overall seed they were. I don't like they weren't the top 2 seed either. I think they might have been one of the bottom ones because they got Auburn. Like Auburn was the top overall seed, so they couldn't be the number 5 overall seed. So yeah, you get what I mean. I mean Michigan's going to be a 1 seed. I mean, they're going to win the Big Ten by probably multiple games. So Purdue, I think like this Purdue team in a lot of years would be good enough to win the Big Ten, just not this year. But I still think you're going to see a pretty good season from Michigan, not Michigan State, the Big Ten in March. Again, normally Michigan State does well in March. Izzo has made the Sweet 16 the second weekend of the tournament in his career at Michigan State more times than he has not. That is still highly impressive. And I do think you're going to see the Big Ten well represented down the line of the NCAA tournament. Will it result in the conference's first championship since Izzo won it in 2000? And Maryland technically won it, but they were in the ACC. But will it? I don't know. I truly do think, though, this could be the year. Purdue is a team I think that is capable, if they get hot at the right time, of doing it. This would, I mean, obviously for them, beating MSU would be a step in the right direction. That they just demolished Indiana, too. So they're playing some good hoops, from what I can tell. So again, looking forward to it. I've never been to Mackey Arena. I'm recording this actually on Wednesday night. Driving down on Thursday, well, late Thursday morning. Not that long of a drive, more like about 4 hours or so. So nothing too crazy there. Looking forward to it. I really am looking forward to seeing Mackey Arena for myself. You hear nothing but good things about that place, about how good of an atmosphere it is. And I'm sure they're going to bring it for a top 15 matchup. Again, all my coverage of that will be at SpartanNation.com. And there'll be plenty of other written content as well there. Or you can look at Michigan State Spartans on the side. There'll be more podcasting content for you right here at YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find it right here. And once again, though, I'm Jacob Katsunika. I'll see you guys around.